Hey, everybody, welcome to Michael's Record Collection. I am joined today by a couple of members of the band A.C.T from Sweden. We've got Ola Andersson and Jerry Sahlin. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Hi, Michael.
Hi. Uh, you guys are about 6 hours, I think, ahead of us here in the US, I think. So you're at what, about 7:30 your time in the evening?
Yeah,
Exactly
that's
right.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
And wait,
bedtime.
and are you in Malmo? Is that where you live?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Very south of Sweden.
All right. Well, you guys have a new album coming out, an EP called Falling, which is due out March 3rd. And this is an interesting thing because you guys have previously released a bunch of albums, but this is the third EP in a row out of four. And I was curious as to, why the format changed to EPs.
Well, the idea for all this was to stay fresh and to stay creative, because if ACT would record an album, it takes like 6 years to finish it off, and we think it's a pretty long time. So we wanted to divide it up, to take one big picture and divide it up to four, and to stay fresh. To write like 5 or 6 new songs each year
Mm-hmm.
to a different kind of concept, to actually try new things and new sound and new directions, to stay creative.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. One thing I've always been curious about your band, it's 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 written out A period C period T with no period. What's the reason for that?
For us, it's always been ACT. We don't we hear a lot of people when who hasn't heard us say the name, they say ACT.
Mm-hmm.
But for us it's always been ACT. Um yeah. I
Okay.
can't say much about what it means. We have kept it secret now for so long, so we're gonna keep it a secret
Okay. It's a secret.
until the rest of our lives.
I do like that you call your fans actors. That's pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to go back in time a little bit with both of you. I'm going to ask Jerry first, just because he's on top on my Zoom call, and ask what was your first favorite record, the first album or song that really spoke to you when you were growing up. So we'll start with Jerry, and then we'll go to Ola.
That was the Beach Boys and I Get Around. I was That was the first time when I was like 5 years old, and I still remember to this day. My father and I have a big brother. He's 9 years older than me, so they always played the Beach Boys, and so I remember sitting, with my headphones on, and they were like superheroes to me.
Mm.
And my father and my brother were really cool with that. They told me, yeah, this is the guy who sings all the high parts, and this is the guy, all that. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And I got it. I thought I got it. And then it was directly into Electric Light Orchestra, and my whole family, and were just, they brought the music into the house. So I was constantly listening to Beach Boys and Electric Light Orchestra.
Mm. I can tell you bringing up those two particular bands. It becomes very obvious when you listen to ACT that those would be among your influences. There's a lot of that in what you write.
Yeah,
Ola, same
absolutely.
question. What was the first album or record that really stuck out to you when you were a kid?
That really stuck out. I think my there was a live concert on TV with Prince from Dortmund called the Love Sexy tour.
Mm-hmm.
And, we used to watch that because my brother he recorded it on VHS, and we watched it every day for a whole year. And then we bought the record Love Sexy. I couldn't stop listening to it. So I would say Prince Love Sexy was the first record that I couldn't stop listening to.
Okay, that's not quite as obvious in what you guys do with ACT, but
No, I know, and I'm a huge Prince fan, and
Mhm.
people don't think so, but that's how it is.
And nothing wrong with that. We all love Prince.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for that. Now, again, I'll start with Jerry. But how old were you when you started to really when you really wanted to learn music and sort of become maybe you weren't even thinking of becoming a musician yet, but you were thinking, I'd really like to kind of learn an instrument and see what that's like.
Well, back to the family. I've got a very musical family, and it goes way back. My cousins and nephew and all that. Everybody playing, so it was part of my DNA, I guess. We have always had instruments around. So I started to play guitar and drums. Actually, that was the first instrument I played, and I was around 10 years old when I started to write my own stuff, come up with my own stuff, playing with my Star Wars figures and have a keyboard or a guitar at the same time to play down, down, da down, down, da down. Then I play, and then I start to write my own song. So it's around that period when I was 10.
Okay. Ola, are you also from a musical family, or were you the first to pick up an instrument?
No, actually, my uncle, he played in a band, and they had a rehearsal studio in the basement of a old church in my hometown. And I used to go and visit when I was around, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, and just sit there and watch them play. And one occasion, he asked me, "Do you want to try the guitar?" And I said yes. And he pumped up the volume and the distortion, and I went just like, wow, I want to do this.
Yeah, great. Tell me about the formation of the band ACT as we know it now. It came from, you guys were called Fairyland, I guess, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the formation from the beginning was, I went to school with our old drummer and our old singer, and we were all into like prog rock in those days, like Gentle Giant, Genesis, those kinds of bands. And the singer, he knew Jerry, and he said, "We want Jerry in this band because he writes music and he writes damn good songs."
Mm-hmm.
And he had a demo tape with Jerry's songs, and we were all like blown away from listening to it, and we agreed, yes, that's the guy we want. So we went to a concert where Jerry was playing with his brother, and after the show we just said, we want to start a band with you. So that's how it started. And I think you said, I don't know, let's try it.
Yeah, because I was playing with my brother, and he was, like I said, 9 years older, and they were, really great musicians. And 9 years older, it's a huge thing. So when Ola came to the concert, after the concert, and we talked, I was like, well, I don't know. And he is 2 years younger than me. So I haven't heard these guys before, but we tried out the first rehearsal. I will never, ever forget it, because we played something that I had written on that demo tape, and they had already learned that. So
Oh, wow.
It was, wow. And I was so impressed, especially with this guy, Ola. I'm like, he blew the guitar player right out of the window, who I played with, who was 9 years older. So I was, oh my God, what is happening here? And then we just hit it off immediately, started to write together immediately.
Yeah. When did you guys know you had something special? Because one of the things that I think has been one of my favorite things about your music through the years is the way that guitars and keyboards sometimes have these complex lines, but they're doubled. There's a keyboard and a guitar playing at the same time, the same notes and that kind of thing. When did you kind of really find that chemistry between you?
Right from the start,
Really?
because I was so impressed with Ola's playing. So I wanted to challenge him to play. Can you play this?
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did that. And it blended so cool together. And he did the same to me. Can you do this? And that's how it happened. So it became a part of our sound.
Okay. So I've got a few of your albums here. I've got, some of these.
Cool.
And we're here to talk about Falling, which is a bit of a concept, not a very happy concept, maybe, about the impending doom of the Earth from some object in space that's coming towards it. And this was as I said, the third of 4 EPs that were planned, and the third piece of your 4-piece picture. why this particular sort of theme? Why this particular concept? What were you trying to get at with this impending destruction of Earth kind of thing?
I don't know how it started with us just brainstorming around a concept. I don't remember, a concept of a picture that was, like you said in the beginning, that should be divided in 3 or 4.
Yes.
And then we started what's 3 and what's 4. Well, 4, the seasons, they are 4. So maybe we can do something about the seasons and let the lyrics kind of I can't find the English word for it, but the lyrics should somehow be connected to the different seasons. So a spring
to the cover.
album and to the cover,
yeah.
So we had like a summer album which should deal with heat and heat waves and maybe a climate change. We had fall, this album that should be a lot more darker theme. And we have the first album, Rebirth, that is like the spring.
Happy,
happy. So we thought, can we do a circle of things here? When the last EP is done, we can go back to Rebirth and go the full circle.
Gotcha.
So that's how it started, and it's not all the lyrics. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the meteor thing, or asteroid. I don't know what's it called in English. If the one that hits hits the Earth, doesn't matter. That we came actually up with that part during the photo shoot.
Okay.
For the complete cover, because we were standing there and we're like, okay, we can't use this environment because we were standing in a venue or like a pub or something. And they said, no, it doesn't work. So we had to, the graphic guy had to redo the whole background. That's when we came up with that. Something is falling, something is coming towards the Earth. So that was, on the spot, actually.
Okay.
That part, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the cover. It says the cover photo was by Jesper Lindgren.
Yeah.
Is that the same Jesper Lindgren from the Velvet Insane? From the band?
No.
Okay.
No,
it may be a common name, but I've had a Jesper Lindgren from the Velvet Insane on the show before, so that's why I was curious. They're they play glam music, like glam rock.
No, he's a punk rocker, that guy, and he was actually the guy who shot our DVD as well. Okay. Trifles and Trifles, yeah.
All right. So there are 6 proper songs on the album, plus a little instrumental on each end, and the tracks 2 through 7 each tell a different story about how people are dealing with this, impending disaster. And you guys wrote this in the credits that I have. You each have songs that you're responsible for writing. But I was curious as to how an act song becomes an act song, because when you, for example, when you, Jerry, or when you, Ola, write a song, I'm guessing you're not necessarily writing the drum parts and the bass parts, or are you writing all of it?
Yeah.
When you do a demo, you kind of, just to get the demo right and to present it to the others, you do all the instruments.
Okay.
Because that's how we want to present it. But that doesn't mean that what we do in the demo end up in the final product. Because, I'm a pretty lousy keyboard player. So, I just do basic things on my demo, and Jerry can do whatever he wants after that. And it's the same thing with everybody in the band. So everybody is doing their stuff and adds their special, unique thing to it.
It's interesting to me how your songs flow together so well when it's, because obviously you polish these up together, but when Jerry brings something in or Ola brings something in, it doesn't feel like it's different from the thing that came before that maybe the other one wrote. So it's almost like you've just been, since you started playing together, you're just on the same mental wavelength when it comes to writing music. Is that what you find as well?
Yeah, we've been together now, for 25 years.
Yeah.
So we know what we like, and everybody put their personal flavor on each instrument. So Ola and me writing all, well, I can't say, but it's interesting that you say that our songs is similar to each other. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a very good continuity from one song to the next. It doesn't sound like, if you listen to some bands, you can tell that certain band members wrote one song and then different band member wrote the next song. But with ACT, it flows together so well, and the songs are so consistent that it like, if you played me a random ACT song, I couldn't tell which one of you wrote it.
But I think in the past, most of the music has been written by Jerry. I've started just writing on the later albums, and when we do the demos, we have more songs that end up on the album, and I think we kind of filter the things out that doesn't sound really like us.
Okay.
So what's ending up on the album is more the songs that would fit ACT, I would say. Okay. Because there are lots of stuff that we have thrown away because it doesn't melt together very well.
I understand. Gotcha.
So that's one side of it, or one way to get it more consistent.
Right. Now, so from what I understand, you guys start off by writing and maybe recording a demo on your own in your own home studio, and then you bring it together and you listen and you talk it over, and you say, oh, that's good, I like that, or this is something that I think will work. And then from there you flesh it out with the rest of the band. Is that how it works?
Well, we write, like if I write a demo, I present it to the guys, not in person, but it's so easy today to over the internet. So, and but it's rare. It's when somebody says that, get rid of that part, or but it's more like, could you expand that, or extend, is it the right word, to keep it there for a while? It's more like that. So the writing process, the writing process, it's always done by either me or Ola. It's more the arrangement bit that goes out to all the guys. So like Ola said, he's not a keyboard player, and I'm not a guitarist. I do the best I can on my demo, and then Ola just makes something out of it. Yeah.
Now, were these songs all recorded in your home studios? Everybody records their parts at home. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Except for drums and lead vocals, we do that in a real studio.
Okay. And so this was produced by the band, and also Joachim Rudolph. Is that how you say his name? I'm sorry if I butchered that.
Yeah. Joachim, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Joachim Rudolph also mixed and mastered this album, and here we go. We've got the lineup. We've got Peter.
I just have to add that Joachim, he's been has, especially on Falling, been a big part of producing and arranging, and he's brutally honest also. He can say that we get rid of those instruments here, it will be much better. We listen to him sometimes, sometimes not, but he's a big part.
It's good. It's good to have some pushback. It's good to have somebody who's kind of keeping you sort of focused, I guess, and making sure that it doesn't get spin out of control. But the lineup is Peter Asp on electric and synth bass, Thomas Leon on drums, Ola Andersson lead and backing vocals, electric and acoustic guitars, Herman Saming on lead and backing vocals, and Jerry Sahlin lead and backing vocals, synthesizers, and sound effects. And I have to say that for lead and backing vocals for ACT, again, you guys kind of all sound the same. You have very similar sounding voices, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It blends together quite well, actually. Yeah.
So touched a little bit about on some of the progressive influences, but what I hear when I hear ACT, and I could be completely wrong about some of the influences, but somebody asked me how would I describe ACT, and I would say that if you took a little bit of Dream Theater and a little bit of Saga and maybe a little bit of Jellyfish, you'd have put them all in a blender. I think you'd have a pretty good approximation of ACT as how it sounds musically. What are those influences that I'm hearing? Are any of those actual influences, or is that just what I'm hearing?
I think it's correct. I think it's spot on, actually. But there are more. We love bands like 10cc and City Boy, and well, there's lots of them, and ELO, as we talked about, and well, there's lots of stuff, but within that, yeah.
ABBA we have heard as well.
Oh yeah, a harder ABBA. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah. And it obviously production is very important to an ACT album as well. It's there's a nice polish without it being overly glossy, I think, on ACT albums. And you had some other musicians on this as well. You have Philip Runason on violins, violas, and cellos on Breathe and The Earth Will Be Gone. Thomas Erlandsson, acoustic and electronic percussion. You've got some other singers here, or at least vocalists, adding some voices to some of these songs, and some string arrangements from Martin Svensson. So is this typical, or did you use more people than you normally use?
It's pretty typical, right? We always have a couple of guests.
Mm.
Okay.
Sometimes we want a female voice, and we know lots of singers, so they're all friends to us. Except, Philip, he's like, we used to use a full orchestra players, a four-piece or string orchestra that played at the same time. But our producer that we know tips us on Philip, and he said that he is like an orchestra. So, and he can play all those string instruments, and it will be tight. So we tried him on Heatwave, and it was incredible. It was just incredible, and we dubbed it, over and over and over, and we got this nice sound to it. So we're happy that we use real strings.
Yeah, that's great. It definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
So Fall In and Fall Out are sort of just Fall In is a little instrumental, and Fall Out is kind of, we hear the destruction of the planet from this meteor or asteroid or comet or whatever it is, and it's then we hear this little snippet of music at the end. It ties it back to the end of the last EP, this little sort of old-timey ragtime maybe piano. What is that a secret, or you want to tell me what's going on there with the connection with that?
That part, if you have heard it, it ends on Rebirth, and it ends on Heatwave, and it ends on Falling. So let's see if we get the whole thing on the fourth one.
All right, we got three.
We love those kind of puzzles. Yeah, we love those kinds of things, we have always done. I mean, listening to 10cc, come on, look at the album covers. I want that. We want that back, It's not just listening to music on Spotify. Not for us. We want that back, the old school way of thinking of music, to actually hold something, a physical thing in your hand, and you should discover stuff. Everything is, well planned. So you will get the answer to that question.
Great. I know your fans will be happy with that. So let's dive into some of these songs here. The first proper song, I guess, is Digging a Hole, that Ola wrote. And the protagonist is living with someone who refuses to give up and would like to spend their final days, with that person, instead of potentially wasting the time that's left. And that person's just trying to dig a shelter or whatever. And, I think it's a fantastic concept. It's that one person is doing everything they can to stay alive. The other person is like this is pointless. We're wasting our time. What did you draw upon any kind of experience in your life to kind of help you write that story, or is that just right out of your imagination?
I just wanted like a conflict in a relationship um, where one person is completely obsessed by the thought of surviving this disaster, and the other one is listening to what media says and have sort of given up and just let's spend this rest of the time we have left together and enjoy it. I wanted that conflict, but I think I drew inspiration from a movie. I think the movie is called Take Shelter, about a guy who is like extremely obsessed by a coming disaster, and nobody believes him.
Okay.
And that's where I got the image from, and that's kind of how it started.
Did you guys watch a lot of disaster movies? Did that help you, sort of come up with some of these ideas, or was it
I
just?
think we do watch lots of movies, and I read lots of disaster sci-fi books, so
Okay.
I have lots of disasters in my head.
Well, it's good escapism. I do the same thing. I like Lucifer's Hammer and stuff like that. Some great sci-fi has come from that. But then The Girl Without a Past was written by Jerry, and Girl Without a Past is a girl who can't remember anything from before, but I guess, from the lyrics, sort of predict the future, or is telling someone what the future is going to hold, and that there really isn't a future. And I wonder what inspired that. That's a very interesting concept.
Yeah. We did a song on our first album called Emily, and it was about that kind of sickness that she had, and it was about that she couldn't remember anything. So it just came to me that what happened to that girl. So I wanted to follow it up. So I just came up with this story to return to Emily, and there's one other, like a secret about her, and that was that she can't remember anything, like you said, but she can predict the future, and that's it actually. So it's kind of a nod back to my 19-year-old, when I was 19 years old when we recorded the first one, I think. So a cool thing.
I was going to ask if that was just a nod to somebody that you knew and you liked the name, or if it was like a tie-in, but now I have my answer, so that's great.
Yeah.
I love that you did that. That's fantastic. The other person,
I think on the first album, I think we named her Emily because it rhymed on memory.
Memory, yeah, that's it. And it worked well. Emily, her memory,
Yeah, that's great.
It's not a rhyme, but
it's close enough. Yeah, it works.
Close enough, yeah.
So you have the narrator of that song is not sure whether he should believe this person and sort of live their life accordingly, or just dismiss her. So that's again, that's a lot of this is very cerebral. A lot of these topics really make you think about what you would do in that situation. So
exactly, yeah.
So then we go back to Ola with Breathe. And this seems to be about a couple who maybe weren't doing all that well, but now the narrator of the song kind of has come to appreciate that person is there. That's my interpretation. What is that, anywhere close?
Yeah, it's kind of a sidestep from the concept in one way, but it can still be part of the concept. But yeah, it's about a couple that really can't stand each other, and they can't live without each other either. So when they're approaching the disaster, they start to think about, what should we do now? Should we spend, it's like the first song, should we spend these days together with a person I can't live with, but I can't live without either? So it's that, ambivalence, or what it's called. I myself is a person that can't decide on anything. So it kind of started, what would it be like if you can't decide? And you spend your last days just thinking about what to decide instead of living. So that's kind of the basic idea.
A little bit of paralysis there mentally, All right. Race Against Time. We're back to Jerry, and this is a song where the narrator is desperate to escape the planet's doom. Almost, it's like one of these people that just won't accept, and they're like, they're questioning why the government can't do something more to stop it. But I wasn't clear sort of how it kind of unfolds after that first verse. What can you tell me a little bit about what you were thinking about on that song?
Yeah, absolutely. This was, I was putting myself in that kind of situation, and with social media and stuff, everybody's writing stuff, and it was like, why doesn't the government, like you said, why don't they do any? Why just blow it up? I mean, what the hell is happening? It was more like a chaos song, like how people talk. If we would know that there's a comet towards us, and they're not doing anything. We're complaining, to the military and the guys, the leaders of the world,
Yeah.
So it's just like a reflection on that, Oh, come on, do something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Why are we paying our taxes? You got to save us from this.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like well, I mean, I like all the songs on this. I especially kind of like The Girl Without a Past. I like the way that goes. But the last couple songs I really like. Ola, you wrote One Last Goodbye. The narrator is conflicted about whether or not he should I'm sorry, whether or not he should have lied to someone about, presumably about what's happening. Maybe they're not completely aware. They think it's sort of a light show in the sky or something.
It's about it's really about the dad who has told his daughter that what you're about to see is just fireworks.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, and he's thinking about if he's done the right thing at the final moment.
Yeah.
So they're watching it coming, and she's really like happy to see this great thing in the sky.
Yeah.
And he knows that this is the last time we see each other.
Yeah. And he's feeling guilty about not having been truthful, but at the same time, by not being truthful, he allowed her to enjoy her final moments.
Yeah, she has a happy ending, but he still feels conflicted about it.
Yeah.
And the refrain is just, when it's over, we will be forgotten, and we will just be some satellites flowing around. Nobody will know ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, real happy music.
Yeah, it's happy.
Happy subject matter. And then the last one, the Earth Will Be Gone. It seems to be a little bit about denial. The narrator seems to think that they have somewhere they can go and be safe. And then it seems to be that there's a child who's asking questions about, will my friends be okay? And will we die? And they're being told, no, everything will be fine. But you do have to let go of your, all of your friends and all the things that you have. And our house will be waiting for us when we get back.
Yeah.
What were you, what was sort of going through your mind when you wrote that?
Again, I was putting myself in that position of if it could happen, and it could happen to my family if I had it. My kids are teens now, so they're. But I was thinking of a family with smaller kids, and how we parents could, we call it white lies, and say that now it will be okay. It will be okay. We have to leave now, but it will be okay. Not to get so they don't get panic, and So it's a very ambitious song, and this is one of those songs that I doubt we will ever play live, because it's kind of like a mini opera thing. But we wanted it to, and it's a perfect ending, we think, on this record and on this theme. So it kind of an ambitious song, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got that right. I was concerned maybe it was somebody that maybe had some kind of a spaceship, or that we're going to get away and then they were going to or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like everything's going to be all right. Well, we're going to take off. We'll be fine. We'll be back there. Every song has sort of like a little, I don't know, it sounds like almost like a little military or NASA type of back or maybe news report kind of thing going on in the background as you flow from one song to the next. Did you guys produce those pieces yourself, or did you borrow them from somewhere?
Yeah, we borrowed them. It's actually from NASA, and
Okay.
the whole album starts with a sound. I can't, like that.
Yeah.
That is actually a sound, a real recorded sound from a comet. So I thought that was so cool. Nobody knows that, but you know it now,
Yeah.
But I thought that was real cool, and I combined that with the Morse code.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was also a little blink to Jeff Lynne's Secret Messages album, which I really love.
Oh, that's
so
great.
it was like a tribute to put that in.
Yeah.
And it worked on this concept as well. And the voices that you hear are actually, I was seeing, like pilots, circling, around and they talk to each other, and it's still coming towards us, all that. So I cut that out from which part I wanted, like sound effect. So.
All right. Where did that idea come from, or how did you know about that that sound and all of that?
Well, I was just YouTubing it first and Google it, and if there really is recorded sounds from space. So yeah, that's how I found it.
Well, it's a very cool concept album. I watch a lot of disaster movies, so to me, it's cool. It's almost like a soundtrack to a disaster movie. You mentioned how difficult it would be to do the mini opera live. What are the plans as far as touring or going out and doing live shows and doing some of these songs live?
Yeah, we're at the moment planning for like a mini tour in Scandinavia during the fall of 2023. We will probably play some of the songs from all of the EPs. We will pick the ones we think fit the set list best.
But we have a pretty cool idea also. Well, talking about US, the guys at Prog Stock has emailed me and asked us if we want to come over and play. And we said, yes, please. We'd love to do that, But yeah, we haven't heard it. It was a couple of weeks ago, so we have to follow this up, of course. But we have another thing going on during this autumn, the coming fall, actually. Because our third album, Last Epic, is celebrating 20 years. So 20 years, I mean, God. Yeah, so we are in the discussions now to play that whole thing, the whole Last Epic album on one show.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the whole concept with everything, to play it. We have never done that, so I think it's time now when it's 20th birthday.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite of your releases so far, although I like them all. And that brings up a point that I forgot to mention during One Last Goodbye. I don't know if it was intentional, maybe it was, you can tell me. There's some of the music here in One Last Goodbye that is very reminiscent of something that's in the song Manipulator, and it's in a song where the narrator is manipulating his daughter. So I wonder if that was an intentional nod back to Manipulator.
No, it wasn't.
No,
but
it's not like an exact copy, but there's just something about that. I think it's a keyboard run that just reminds me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good observation.
I thought you meant lyrically, but musically, yeah. I think we do it all the time. We do things. We have taken things out from other songs and put it into our new songs, so you can hear it every now and then.
Yeah, I just thought it just seemed so cool to have done it on purpose, to say this is a person manipulating someone else, and we're going to use a little keyboard from Manipulator.
Well, now we're gonna say it.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. We will take that because it will make us more intelligent than we are.
Well, I bet it was subconsciously that's what you were doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's put it that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'd be great if you go to Prog Stock. We definitely don't get enough ACT over here in the United States. I think you guys are fantastic. I really would love to be able to have the opportunity to see you guys live. But if you don't make it over, or even if you do, maybe there could be a DVD from this tour.
Yeah, absolutely. We absolutely want to record the whole. If we're doing the whole last Epic album, of course it will be filmed. Have you seen the KB gig on YouTube?
Just a little piece of it this week. I didn't have time to watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, but that was the last time we played actually in 2019. So we're quite happy with that. So, but of course we will do it again. Absolutely.
Where's the best place for people to get Falling where it helps you the most rather than ordering off Amazon or whatever? Would that be through your website?
To buy the physical album, you mean?
Yes, like a CD of Falling.
Well, if you want to support the band, you should buy it from our shop directly.
Okay.
Which is shop.actworld.se.
Got it.
Right. So that's the best place to buy it, I think. We don't have a distributor at the moment, so any shop who wants to take it in, they contact us and we send it to them. So we're kind of the distributor ourselves.
So here in the United States, it'll probably be somebody like Laser's Edge or somebody like that would probably contact you about getting some copies in, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's this is a really great little EP. I shouldn't even say little, because as long as it is, I mean, in the 1970s, this would be album length, really.
Yeah.
I think about a half an hour. So I hope it does really well for you. I mean, if you like ACT, you're going to like Falling, because it sounds like ACT. It sounds like everything you love about ACT. And, more of those great keyboard and guitar runs, more great, blended vocal harmonies, all of the real hallmarks of what you love about ACT is right here in this. And I'm assuming that since every one of these has been 2 years apart, that we will have the last piece of this 4 EP run in 2 years. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think so. Ola and me has written like crazy now. We're in a, really putting up songs, demos more than ever. And they all sound so cool. So looking forward to the next one now. So that's where our mindset is on now. So
yeah, you got see, that's the thing. You got to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Do you have I mean, I'll ask each of you this. I'll start with Jerry again. Do you have a favorite song on this EP?
On this EP, I when Ola presented Breathe, excuse me, Breathe, the song Breathe to me, his demo, I was crying. I was like, the chorus, when it goes down like the da-da-dum, da-da-dum, when it just keeps on building up, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I phoned him up. So that's definitely one of those songs. And I like The Girl Without a Past. I think that came out pretty well, as kind of 80s. We were aiming at the kind of 80s. What would ACT sound like if we were in the 80s? Like we released this album in 1983. So, and we told the producer that. So I'm very happy with that result as well. So those 2 songs for me personally.
Okay. And Ola?
Yeah, well, I like them all, but and it changes all the time what you like. When we were mixing the album, we spent so much time with all the songs, I think, except Race Against Time. And when Joachim had finished it, I just loved it. It's aggressive and it's short. It's intense. I think that's my current favorite. Okay. And we have just Can I say, Jerry?
Yeah, of course.
We're putting this out as a video later on after we're gonna do 2 singles. The first single is Girl Without a Past, and we have a video for that. That will be released on Friday. And the Friday after that, we have another video, another single. And then we will release Race Against Time as a video as well. And the video came out really cool, really in sync with the music, I think.
Okay.
So, cool song, cool video.
Are these videos then are they're not live performances that are filmed? Then there's some sort of graphics or maybe some actors, or tell me a little bit about the videos.
Well, on the first single, "The Girl Without a Past," well, it's a combined thing. It's there's one actor, and but it's mostly us, you know, in a different environments. So on your song, "One Last Goodbye," Ola, there are more graphics.
Yeah, more graphics in that one, but also the band. Yeah, but I think most of the videos are. I think we're a band where you want to see the band, at least most of the time. So we're
got to see how quickly those fingers are moving across the fretboards and the keyboards.
Exactly.
All right. Well, the album is called the EP or album, whatever you want to call it. It's called Falling. It's scheduled to come out on March 3rd. Guys, I wish you nothing but the best with this, as with all your releases. Just love what you're doing over there, and wish we could get more of you over here, and hopefully that'll happen. But thank you so much for your time and for telling me about this release.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for having us.